Hello, hi, my name is Jamey Hodge. I'm with Guild Mortgage, and I'd like to briefly highlight an incredible program for the City of Fort Worth that can greatly benefit you with your possible home purchase. If you meet the qualifying criteria, the City of Fort Worth will grant you $14,999 that you can utilize towards your down payment and or closing costs. $3,000 of these funds are for your closing, $11,999 are for your down payment. And what that means is that your actual loan amount would be less than what it otherwise might be, which lowers your monthly payment. And with the seller, or not the seller, but the city paying $3,000 in closing, that potentially lowers your out-of-pocket that you might pay at closing. This is a program for first-time home buyers or applicants who have not owned a home within the last 3 years. So let's say, for example, you own a home for 10 years, but you sold it 3.5 years ago. You could still be eligible for these funds. There are income limits. By that, your income can exceed certain amounts based on the number of family members who would occupy the property. The more family members, the higher the income limits. In determining how the city determines your income for qualifying, if your income exceeds the limits per their criteria, then unfortunately you wouldn't be eligible for these funds. There is a required minimum investment of $1,000. This is one of the really bigger benefits that I see of getting this program. And just to kind of put this in proper perspective, the type of loan that most of you will be qualifying for is an FHA. FHA requires a minimum down payment of 3.5% of the sales price. So let's say, for example, you purchased a home for $100,000. Assuming the seller were to pay your closing costs, your minimum investment would be $3,500. Whereas with the city, it's $1,000. So that's an incredible difference, $2,500, just to give you an example. Mortgage loan types. Most of these loans are FHA. If you're a veteran, we can go VA. But that doesn't mean that you have to invest the 3.5%. FHA allows, with these city funds, for your investment to only be $1,000. I might also mention that FHA, as far as qualifying, is the most flexible and accommodative as far as the lower credit scores, all the other credit qualifying criteria. It's a fixed rate, it's a very competitive rate, it's guaranteed or backed by the government, it has consumer protections built into it. So, in the 28 years I've been in this industry, FHA has always been the predominant mortgage, especially for first-time home buyers. Okay. Property condition. The city does a very thorough, detailed inspection on the property. Before you can close, any required repairs per that city inspection must be completed and repaired before you can close. As I see this, this is kind of a built-in protection against closing of a house with any condition issues. Types of properties. I also might mention that because of the city inspection, foreclosures typically don't work with this program. If you buy a foreclosure, those are sold as is in most cases. The banks won't do repairs, so it's kind of a catch-22 because the city won't close unless the repairs are done and the bank won't do the repairs. So just kind of keep that in mind, that in most cases this is going to be the traditional resale type properties. Home buyer education. This is also a positive. The city requires that you take a home buying education class, and we'll get into that if this is something that you pursue. But what this does is, as I see it, it educates you on the process. It prepares you for success in buying a house. You go through budgeting, responsibilities of homeownership, the closing process, and it gives you just a lot of insight to the total process. And I think once you've completed it, it's something that you'll be glad that you did. Closing times. Most transactions in general, just to give you an idea, will take between 30 to 40 days to close. If we utilize these city funds, we have two approvals. We have the lender approval, and then you have the city approval. So most of these transactions take at least 60 days to close. Could be a little longer, could be a little less. But as I see this, if it means that you get $14,999 in assistance, that you get in for only $1,000 out of pocket, if it means that the Seller's going to do any required repairs to the property. You get the home buyer education, so it gives you confidence in the home buying process. And to take an extra 30 days to close, in my opinion, is well worth, all the benefits that you get. Okay, just one last thing I might mention. It is subject to meeting all the program guidelines of the city and Guild's guidelines as far as the mortgage loan itself. If you want more information, feel free to go to the City of Fort Worth's website, which I have right there, www.fortworthtexas.gov. If this is something you want to look into further, the lender is the first step in this process to get pre-approved. We pre-approve you for the mortgage and also pre-approve you to meet the city's guidelines. We are a partner with the city, and we're the one who processes the paperwork on behalf of the city and gets the information to the city. So the first step would be to get your pre-approval application started, and you can do that through going to www.guildmortgage.net/Jamey Hodge, or you can call me at any time on my cell, 682-552-5546. And I'll be happy to do the pre-approval over the phone and answer any questions that you might have. I do appreciate your time. If this is something that you're interested in, we'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate it. Thank you.